Nice to see you.
Yes, we'll be sitting here with you, co-creating from the heart. So really, I was looking forward to be able to share with you and see you again, since we chatted only once.
Yeah.
And then everything happened quickly because when we chatted, I spoke to you about well, the team that I have, and that maybe it would be nice to use the gratitude cards with them, no? And it was December, and it was Christmas season, and so you sent it to me in that evening, I think your evening, and on the other day, or I don't know, one day after, 1.5 the day after, it was here, the box.
That was crazy. That was crazy. Um, so I wanted to ship it overnight, but the fee was like $150 to ship it overnight. I'm like, no. And then 2-day delivery was $70 or something. I'm okay.
Wow. Yeah.
And then it got there overnight.
Yeah, yes, we got the overnight. I was like, what?
So
It was
yeah.
meant to be here, meant to be here, because then I had the time. I think it was a Tuesday or something like that, or Wednesday. And I was going to meet with the team the next Tuesday. So I had the time during that, mostly the weekend, on the weekend to write down my notes, my cards, not written, handwritten, to each of them, 32 people.
Wow.
So it was a very nice experience, because it was so nice to be able to sit down, feel their energy, and being grateful for who they are in their essence. So it goes very aligned to what I do, no? And I loved it, to be able to also express it physically with something, no?
That's the magic. That's the beauty of this. Um, so Jeannette, I have to tell you, I think you are the one who has done the most audacious project in the least amount of time, right? So taking on 32 cards in less than a week. Uh, how amazing is that to do? And when I told somebody about this, they're like, "Oh my, I can't imagine doing that." Um, and that's not what we're setting. We're not asking everyone to do that.
No.
But the fact that you did it, and then the impact that it had, and I want to hear about that, both what you just talked about. I think there's so many beautiful things to unpack here.
Yes.
The experience of you doing this, right? What is it? What is it like to write heartfelt gratitude?
Yes.
And what's the process? How, right? Because I mean, this is one of the things some people say, well, I don't know how to do this. Well, you take a moment and you feel, you put yourself uh here's what I did a master class on this maybe in November when we first started we put out a tool to help people write from the heart, or to express gratitude. And it hit me that the challenge that so many people have is they start to write, and they start to write from here.
Yes. Yes.
And if we shift that and we go, no, 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 I want to write from here.
Yes.
What is it that you first feel? This is not so much an exercise about what do you think, but what do you
No.
feel? And
Yeah.
so I love how you talked about tapping into the energy and feeling the energy of the
Yes.
person, and taking a moment to just kind of see this person
Yes.
that I want to express something that I feel for them. And then it does lead to something I think about them, but it was birthed out of feeling. So that's an amazing thing to unpack.
Yes. Yes. For me, it's what I do, no? At the end, for me, when I talk about socially conscious leadership, and being who you are and creating what you love and living from the inside out, is living from the heart to the world, no? So in reality, it's being in the heart. every day, every moment in time. So when I do what I do with my team, that I every 2 weeks I sit down with them at least half an hour, I'm in my heart and I feel them. So I'm more able to guide them to what's best for them, because I feel them. And it's also when we are co-creating, when I'm co-creating a conversation, I'm in the heart, I'm not in my mind. I translate my feelings that come from the heart.
Yeah.
I'm not here.
So it starts here.
It starts always in the heart, yes.
It comes here.
It translates.
And then it either goes out through the pen or the spoken word, right?
Yes, but it translates the feelings, the essence, what I get through the heart.
Yeah.
So it's really the mind is is the how do you say that? The mind serves the heart.
And the heart leads the mind.
Yes.
And one of the challenges for so many of us, and I'm going to say us, right? I mean, is that we have been taught to let the mind override the heart.
Yes.
Or even subvert the heart. That, so there's so many people in the world that don't think the heart has anything to do with it.
Yes.
And so it's all
shown.
Yeah.
So it's to unlearn, no? Through exploration, experiencing, and practicing. It's really going in and also unlearning, also because we've been shown that you shouldn't do that because there are certain things you are not able to say, no? So always control your feelings and what you want to say, because you shouldn't be talking certain things. But when you start living from the heart, you acknowledge that you never will do something wrong, you will never say something wrong, because it comes from the heart. So it will never be wrong. But we have to unlearn and unlearn and unlearn, and get rid of the fear by experiencing this, no? That every time explore more, try something out, and express it, translate, no? And from the heart, and just express, and you will never be wrong. And whatever you do will be from the heart, so it's never wrong, no? And when you do that, you connect.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me, no? In this exercise, I do it a lot. I connect with the person when I'm talking to the person, no? But and the exercise and the writing of the cards is the same. I connected with the essence of the person, what it gives me through the heart. So for me, it was nurturing myself. I loved it because, yes, it took me many hours, but not so many. It took me much time, but I felt nurtured just by doing that, because
Right.
I was being in my heart. It was like when you meditate, or when I'm talking to you and I talk from the heart, I nurture myself.
Yeah. Okay. So one thing that's kind of unique here, the project that I invited you into, you said yes to. You had a meeting coming up, right? Like a week off or a week and a half away. And it was like, hey, I'm willing to do this. But when we're talking to other leaders, they may not always have this deadline. And so what we're talking about is what would it look like to make this part of your ongoing practice?
Yes.
Right? What is it when we are regularly, as you do with your team, regularly communicate from the heart?
Yes.
And we take time when we make it part of our regular practice to communicate what we feel and the appreciation, the gratitude we have. And you said something a moment ago. Where does gratitude reside, or where is it birthed from? It's birthed
From the heart.
from the heart, right? It's birthed here. It is something we feel. And and everybody on the planet longs to have a heart-to-heart connection
Yes.
with other humans.
Yes.
And we're hungry. I'm not going to say that. We are hungry for heart-to-heart connection.
Yes.
And when we get a heart-to-heart connection, it really does something, right? It stirs the heart. But so many times the connection is just head to head.
Yes.
But if we take it a little deeper,
Yes,
right,
we
and
are.
we communicate from the heart,
Yes.
then what we communicate from the heart reaches into the heart.
Yes, always. And not necessarily, I wanted to say, highlight is that we are love.
Yeah.
And that's it. We are returning to who we are because we are love. So in reality, we are heart. And as we're heart, we just did unlearn to be in the heart. We are in the heart because you see the children when they come to you, they are heart. They're so happy, and they say with the innocence, nothing can happen, no, because they are heart. We are heart. We just are taught to go into the mind and suppress the heart. And when you live from the heart, and you will always live from the heart, because it's such a beautiful experience, and it's so you.
Yeah.
That then you are gratitude, because we are love. So you are gratitude. I walk around and since I know I'm human and I've been educated, so I'm unlearning. So it's not every time, but much of the time, my intention is to be in the heart. So I go around and I say beautiful things to people, and I think because it's what I see, and you see the reactions.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
because we are love, and it's beautiful to really allow yourself to flow from the heart.
Yeah.
So gratitude is one beautiful exercise. The gratitude cards, it's a beautiful exercise to discover what it is to be in the heart.
Yeah. So do you want to talk more about your journey?
Yes,
This journey we shared?
Yeah, I love it. I loved it.
So you and I were introduced by a mutual friend.
Yes.
And we had this conversation, gosh, maybe 6 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago. I don't know. It wasn't that long ago.
No.
We had oh gosh, I remember now. We had a conversation. The conversation was it was booked for a Thursday. And then I had a conflict that I had not put on my calendar. And all of a sudden, so we met, I think we were introduced on a Friday.
Yes.
We book a call for a Thursday. That call isn't going to work. I reach out to you and I said, hey, I'm sorry, I goofed up something on my calendar. I can't meet that day. What other day can we meet? And all of a sudden we're meeting on Monday.
Yes.
Which probably really helped the timeline of this whole project.
Everything happens for something.
So we have this amazing heart-to-heart conversation and a connection. And we start talking about gratitude. And I don't even remember everything that came up. I just remember it was an amazing conversation. It was deep connection. And something came up, and you shared about this team you lead and the gratitude, the love, the appreciation you have for this team you lead, and that you had an event, a meeting coming up. Your last meeting of the year before Christmas was like less than 2 weeks away. And I said something about these gratitude cards. We a year and a half ago, we created these cards. They're very simple cards. There are two sizes of it. One size is a business card size. We call that an impact card. And on the front, it just says, "I'm grateful for you." The back is blank. The other is a bigger card, what we call a legacy card. And it's a note card, 4x6. And so you and I were talking, and you said you had this meeting coming up, and that you wanted, when we start talking, hey, I'm willing to express my gratitude. And I said, so what if I sent you legacy cards for the whole team, these
Yes.
4x6 cards for you to write a little longer note. It's not a long note even at that, but you know, the impact card, people just write a really
Yeah, it
short note,
was. I
3,
didn't have
5,
enough
7
space.
words about something they see in the moment. But you had people that you've worked
Yeah.
with for some period of time, so you were going to write this longer note. So then we send you the cards. And then, you know, the crazy thing was how fast the cards arrived. I'm in
Yes.
Atlanta, Georgia. You're in outside of Barcelona,
Barcelona,
Spain.
Spain. Yes.
So I send these cards. The overnight postage was going to be outlandish. I'm like, I don't know. So I paid for the like second day, and they showed up overnight anyway. Thank you, UPS, for your participation in this expediting the delivery of joy and gratitude and love. So then what happened for you?
So me, I received it. I was very happy, and plus because you sent me also a beautiful note, and not one but two in different cards.
So, okay, when I send cards, I don't tell people that, but when I send cards, I want them to experience it. So I write a longer card, right, of the full
Yeah.
card, and I just kind of talk about the way we connected or something. And that's the legacy card. Then the impact card, I write something just to encourage you, something that, and I probably wrote about the way you shine, right? Because there's just this brilliance about you. So I put those in there so that you get to experience this yourself. And then we're inviting you to go and share this with others. But I want you to feel it
Yes.
first.
Yes. Yeah, it's a very nice trick.
So thank
But
you. So
was
what,
very
Jeanette,
nice.
I'll just say this.
It was a
When I
gift.
started this project, I had no idea that I would do that. And I can honestly say in the last year and a half, I have written more handwritten notes of gratitude, love, and appreciation than I have in all of the years leading up to the last 18 months.
Yes.
And that is one of the greatest benefits of doing this project, is writing these notes and having these kinds of moments to connect with people. Some people I know, I've written notes to strangers.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And then all of a
Actually,
sudden somebody's reading, and it's just, wow, there's magic
yes. That's
in
nice.
that.
Yes.
So that's a beautiful thing that's happened in my life.
Yes.
So then, to my knowledge, you are the first person that's taken this on and written 32 notes in 1 week.
Yes,
So
but
thank you.
yes, yes. And I love to do it. I have even picture. I want to write about that one day, soon, but I haven't been able of what it is and
I
how
will
it
come.
relates from living in the heart. But I usually do certain things at work, for the team, at the IT team, for them to celebrate, for them to know that there are other things, and really for them to look also inside and be themselves. So I wanted, the cards gave me the possibility to bring the team more together, because I opened up the meeting. I wrote those cards. I had them all. I had people in video, still some of them, 5 or 6, and the rest were in the office. So I opened the meeting. I said, "Look, guys, we're in Christmas season, and there has been lots going on this year. So I really want to be thankful for everything that you've done, and for who you are, especially. So I'm going to share with you some cards, no?" And I gave them, I handed over, and I said, "Take the time to read." To the ones in the video, I said I had them ready. I had them a picture,
Taking a picture.
and I sent them directly to each of them, so they would
Beautiful.
have it also, And I said, okay, when they read it, I said, okay, now I would love for you to do the same. So we had, I think that we had a bit less than 1 hour. So they started writing, and the 1 hour wasn't enough. But so after we finished the meeting, well, getting together, they handed the cards to the rest. And the beauty of it is that I saw during the day more letters, more notes being shared. And I even saw it 1 week later. They were continuing doing that. And for me was, well, at the end, it's when you do it, you nurture yourself. And when you hand it over, you're nurturing others, you're giving love. It's you're grateful for them. You're showing your love to them. And then seeing that it ripples out because they feel and they also continue giving, and that it's within the team that it goes like this. So you see that it has brought them more together. And my team is not in Barcelona only, they live around. So we met there, and because of Christmas season, they met in the office, no? But they're closer together.
Oh my gosh, just in what you said, there's so many things to unpack and explore here. The first thing that I heard, I jotted a couple of notes because I just want to come back to these things. First off, you work in an industry that might not be considered the most heart-based industry, right? You said I have an IT team. So I think this is fascinating to call out, right? That this was because some people may hear you saying this and you're thinking, oh, she works with a team of therapists. They're all, counselors or coaches, and they live in this heart space all the time. So it's no. This is a very heady space. Right? So I'm privileged to work with a lot of people that go, hey, we hire the smartest people around. But what people recognize, and this is one of the companies I've worked with, they said, we have some of the smartest people in our industry with IQ, but we want to raise their EQ, their emotional intelligence. And we believe gratitude is one way to do that. Why? Because it's what you said, gratitude taps into the Okay, so I just love that. We just got to call that out and go, okay, right? This is with people that are really smart people, high IQ people. In an industry where heart may not be the norm of how people live.
Yes, and the beauty, I'm doing this kind of things. I'm here already 6 years, and a company, they didn't know I didn't know myself either, and someone like me managing people in IT like this. Since I'm also an IT, I'm a systems engineer, and but it has worked. I remember the first or second year they said, Jeannette, good that you're doing what you do. We didn't know that we needed someone like you, because it brings people together and people are motivated to work because they are more themselves. We allow them to be themselves, to be free, to express who they are, and for me to guide them into what they love to do. So I find spots where I can make them work in something they like. No, that's why I do it every 2 weeks. No, and
okay, so I've got to call out something you said that your company recognized. We need someone like you. Hey, I believe every company needs someone like you, right? Every company needs someone, because you've already mentioned this twice in the last 4 minutes, that what you did allowed your team to connect more deeply with each other, right? When we do this, I didn't know this, Jeannette. I'm serious. I didn't know this. I just stumbled on this stuff with gratitude. Gratitude allows people to connect quickly and deeply, like nothing else I've seen. When we are expressing, and you said something else that was so important. People started expressing appreciation first and foremost for who you are, was a phrase you used, right? It's not just, hey, I am grateful for what you do. No, first and foremost,
who you are. Because my
Who,
gratefulness, my cards were for who you are, not for what they do.
yeah. Now, and what we want in every workplace of the world, wouldn't it be amazing
Yes.
if every workplace of the world, people are first being seen, heard, valued, and appreciated for who you are,
Yes.
dot,
And
dot, dot, and for what you do.
yes, for what you create,
But first, for who
for
you
who
are,
you are.
because so many people feel that all the company cares about is what I do.
Yes, yes. And that's not that, and that's what I, with the leadership circle and with what I do and the vision I have for the world, is really that not only in work spaces, but everywhere we are who we are and we create what we love. But this in IT, I wanted to, well, it has happened that I've been, at the end, if I say I am who I am and create what I love, I do it everywhere. So
Exactly.
my work also. So, and I am the example of what I want to see for the changing of the world, of transformation of the world.
This
So
is the
I apply it.
integration we
Yes,
want, right?
yes,
People are not different, but
no,
you do not have to be a different person
no,
at work, in
no,
community, or at home.
no.
No, you are who you
Yes.
are, and you are unleashing. You're getting in touch with the best of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're letting the best of who you are flow and shine wherever you are, whatever you do,
Yes,
and the work you do is better
yes,
because,
yes, because I am my heart.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's the best that I can be, so that I am, and that's who I am. I'm my heart. And if I'm my heart, I positively impact everyone else. I'm the example of what I want to see. And they get inspired, motivated. They sense, even if they don't see it here, they sense it. And as
yeah,
they sense this leadership, self-leadership, and this leadership, I show them for them to do the same, for them to
exactly,
be who they
exactly.
are and create what they love.
I had a mentor. She is now deceased, but one of her favorite sayings was, "Our example is our best teaching tool,"
Yes,
right? It's what you do, it's how you lead. That's what people really see and are impacted by. It's not just the things you say, but it's
no,
what you do. They see your
yeah,
example, they
and
follow
who
your
you
example.
are.
Who you are, who you are. Okay, so you said something else that just wow. Okay, in this meeting, let's unpack this in three levels, if we may. What did you see first, just when people received and were opening the message you had written for them? But what did that do to people? They are receiving
Yes,
your heartfelt gratitude.
yes, yes,
What were the responses you witnessed?
yes. Actually, I do it a lot with them, but with the cards,
Well, you
they,
can talk about any time,
yeah, yeah,
but
but the
yeah,
cards, it's a good example to show, no, the impact of living from the inside out, no, and because when they receive something from you from the heart, so in this case the cards, they take them in, they read them, they smile, no, and they the whole vibration changes. They really, they open up, they open up.
the energy level increases,
Yes,
right?
and they open up, the
Yeah.
hearts open up, you know.
Did you did you see anyone not only smile, did you see eyes get watery?
Yes, yes, yes.
Right? I mean, some
Yes,
people
because
are moved. They're
they
moved so
moved. They're,
deeply.
all of them were moved.
Okay, so there's something I say a lot. It's a bit corny, but there's just times I say, gratitude rises up in my body so much that it
Mhm.
starts leaking out my eyes, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's
it
beautiful.
moves me to tears.
Yes, 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 it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
So there
beautiful.
were
And
times
it
that
opens the heart
it opens
of
the
the
heart. Okay.
one of the one receiving. Because when they open the heart, it since they have received, they open the heart, then there are also more, they also are able to give.
So that, and you use the word ripple, and you talked about this
Yeah,
giving. So Jeannette, it was our friend Vicki that
yeah,
introduced us,
yeah.
Vicki O'Grady Longo. We did a project with her company in September. And that's when these three words that I'm about to share really connected for me. It was like, oh my gosh, that when, and you've already described these three things happening without using all of the words, but you accepted the invitation to express your gratitude and appreciation to your people. And what you just said, when you did it, it opened up their heart. And then what's the beautiful thing we can invite people into? And it's just an invitation. Oh, we want to ignite gratitude in you so that you have an opportunity to pass it on. Because when you receive it at that level. So this was the first, not the first, but the most recent project I did with Vicki and her team. Their VP wanted to express gratitude. So she took one of the big cards and wrote a note that we had printed on the back of all of them, mailed to 700 people on the team in one of our envelopes that kind
Love
of
the envelope.
arrives.
Yeah.
Arrives with this really subtle message on the back of the envelope. I'm grateful for you. But inside it was also some of the little cards, which you had as well, for the people who have now received gratitude to pay it forward, to pass it on. And that's this ignite.
Yes. Yes.
And what's interesting is all you had to do was make it available to them. You did not have to give them an assignment and say, now I want all of you to sit down.
Yeah, no.
No.
Whoever wanted.
The response.
Yeah.
Wow. When I felt this, and I realized how good it felt to receive gratitude in my heart from your heart. Oh, I can do that for someone else.
Yes. Yes.
And then as they did, this connection deepened between your two. That's beautiful. So that's express, ignite, and then you talked about the next week, and then even afterwards, right? There is an infusion that now gratitude it starts to become part of who we are.
Yes.
And how we connect, not just to each other, because I believe you and I would share this hunch. Did some of the people on your team express gratitude to their friends, to their family, to customers, right? To people that were outside that initial group where it was, because you used a word. This is the way gratitude ripples.
Yes. Yes.
Talk about that.
Yes. I don't know if they did, but surely it impacted them.
Did.
But they did, yes.
Because it's just this, it's the way it works,
yeah,
right?
no, and plus because they then not only, for instance, they not only did it in the team, but I saw some cards being sent out to other teams, friends, that not necessarily are in my team. So surely
Yeah.
it rippled out of this of the team because through each of them, through who they are.
Yeah. Oh, that would be a fun conversation to ask your team sometime. Hey, where else have you shared gratitude? Because it really does. Okay, so there are studies, and you've already talked about part of this. There are three audiences impacted when gratitude is expressed. The person who writes or expresses the gratitude, there is a benefit we receive. There's a benefit you received in writing 32 notes. And then the person to whom we communicate gratitude, there's a benefit to them. And then there's this third audience. If there were people that were just witnessing it. Okay, so I had somebody telling me this just last week. They were in a grocery store and they had, and it was a long line and people were short tempered, right? And somebody in front was doing something that took a lot of extra time. So everybody's a little bit annoyed. And this one person, when they got there, they saw what a hard day the cashier was having, and they expressed gratitude to the cashier and showed love and kindness. Let's talk about use those words. From the heart, they showed love, kindness, compassion, expressed gratitude. And then they said, as they were walking out with their bags, they turned around, and guess what? The next customer in line was nicer to the cashier and was picking it up, maybe nicer than they would have been otherwise. Why? Because they witnessed it.
Witnessed it. Yes, it's very important. That's why it's so important to do it everywhere, to be grateful everywhere, and to be who you are everywhere.
Yeah,
Because
to
it really
be.
yes, it's the being, and from the being you create, from the being you do, from the being you co-create. You know, it's this be in you, don't be afraid, be open-hearted, and just show who you are. It will be, there's no right, no wrong, because it's you. And gratitude, as you are saying, it's one beautiful exercise to really learn and remind yourself to be in the heart.
Oh, yeah. What are things when we are, do you remember something you wrote that a way to appreciate someone for who they are first rather than what they do? Because this is one of the things I see people, we need to unlearn.
Yeah, we need to
Right? What we have been taught, and this is kind of funny when I think about it. What do companies traditionally appreciate and celebrate about their people? Okay. One thing almost all companies appreciate is that you show up to work. Okay. So, and if you show up for a year, we may recognize that with a 1 year anniversary. Or if you show up for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 25 years, we appreciate that even more, right? So we're just appreciating that you show up. And that's by recognizing attendance or tenure, right? That somebody stays. The other thing we appreciate in so many companies is performance. Oh, you were the top, whatever, right? So we appreciate achievement. But how many times do we really appreciate the character qualities that someone has, how you do your job? We appreciate, and that I know that you were in a place of hardship, and yet you still showed up.
Yes.
What if we appreciate those kinds of characters and qualities?
Yes.
So we're not, we're taking it beyond attendance. We're taking it beyond achievement. We're taking it into who you are that led you to do what you do.
Yes, it's where it's what I tap into when I speak to them, and the cards were about that. I'm grateful for how much they've grown, or that they have shown, I don't know, more confidential, more confidence, that they have, the laughter, how they interact with the, I don't know, with the rest, you know.
So another thing I hear you saying is how you are you in the work you do, how you bring what you said earlier, your full self.
Yes. Yes.
When you're talking about doing work with laughter and joy, that's somebody's personality coming through.
Yes.
And they feel the freedom to be who they are and not feel like they have to edit or suppress themselves because, I mean, I've worked in environments where lightheartedness, joy, laughter wasn't appreciated because it wasn't professional enough.
Yeah, there are places like that. The yes, I remember this year, one of my one of the team members, he was saying, "No, Jeannette, I'm learning here to be who I am and to be able to do jokes, because in the company before, I was always told to stay straight or not to say certain things. And here I'm learning, because I was telling him, please be who you are, because I see you stiff. I see you, and you're not projecting this essence and this character that you have that will allow everyone else to enjoy you. So express it, because through that you will learn faster. He was a trainee, he will learn faster. You will be happy to be here and motivated, and just be you, just be you. I told him at the beginning, and at the end of the year, he said, Jeannette, I'm so thankful for that, because I'm really now in freedom, and I love my colleagues, and they know me as who I am.
All right. Now, all of a sudden, a line from E.E. Cummings just popped. To be nobody but yourself.
Yes.
A world that's doing its best night and day to make you everybody else is the hardest job hardest battle any of us fights and never stops fighting. So what if, right, out of leading from the heart, we create environments where people are free to be you and free to bring your full self, your beautiful, your bright, your brilliant self to the job.
Yes.
And not feel. I mean, here's what I remember thinking sometime back a couple of years ago, getting a picture of a mold, right? And we force people into a mold, and what happens? There's all this other stuff that doesn't fit the mold that then gets cut off and thrown away because we've created everybody into a likeness, right? The mold. And wow, so many of us, right? It's those things we've cut off to fit in are the things that make us stand out and shine.
Yeah, it's our uniqueness. We are love, uniqueness, and co-creation. Our uniqueness it's from where our skills come from, where we create what we love, from what no one in this earth is able to do other than ourselves. And uniqueness comes from love. If you allow yourself to be open-hearted, to be you, you start discovering what makes you unique. No, because you explore, you experience, you practice open-hearted, and then you start seeing who you really are and what makes you unique. And what makes you unique makes you create from that uniqueness and give to others from that uniqueness. And then you also respect and see the uniqueness in other beings, from which you then just co-create, because you respect as who they are and with their uniqueness.
Oh gosh. All right, a couple of things I heard. I heard something again for the second or third time in our conversation. I heard it the first time, like, oh yeah. You said explore, express.
Explore, experience, and practice.
Explore, experience, practice. Okay, so explore. What I say, I create gratitude encounters that allow people to explore, express, and experience gratitude.
Yes.
Right. So co-create these similar words: explore, express, practice. Explore, express, experience. What do we do to create environments where people are free to explore? And people are free to express, and then people are free to practice or experience whatever that is. And and I've seen it before, but I see in the background there, and you said this at the very beginning about love. And I was reminded when you started talking about this, I thought about it then, but it's coming back now. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, in her classic work on death and dying, and this was years ago, she talked about there being two primary emotions. Those two primary emotions are fear and love.
Yes.
And then I have a friend I have several friends that talk about leading from the heart. And they go, Kevin, what has to happen there? And Rich Sheridan is one of these. And he talked about, I love his phrase of this, that a leader's primary job is to pump fear out of the environment.
Yes. Yes.
Right? It's like the HVA system. In so many organizations, what do? They pump fear into the environment, and
Mm-hmm.
they use fear to control and
Yes.
intimidate people, box people in. And Rich is coming, and this was to me 12, 15 years ago now. I'd have to look, but it's 12, 13, 14 years ago when we first became friends. And he said a leader's primary role is to pump fear out. And
Mm-hmm.
if we are pumping fear out, what are we replacing it with?
Love, the
Love.
heart, and who
Love.
you are. Yes. Yes.
Wow. What would it be? What will it look like when there are more workplaces around the world, more communities around the world, more homes around the world?
Yes.
That that
Yes.
love is the
Mm-hmm.
prevailing
Mm-hmm.
love, not fear.
That's our limitless potential, and that's the world, the earth, the new earth I see, because we all can. It's just for us to commit and willing to go in and go into the heart. And the beauty of it, Kevin, is that you can start with gratitude. Gratitude, it's a very easy way to explore your open heartedness.
I think of it as the gateway,
Yeah,
right? Gratitude.
yes, it allows to experience, no, this open heart.
So if you're listening to this conversation, if you're watching this conversation, and if you've listened or enjoyed joined in other conversations Jeannette has led, and you're wondering, how do I go down this path? I want to lead with heart. I want to lead with love. And maybe you've struggled with that. Well, one of the first things you can do
Mm-hmm.
is to begin to express gratitude and
Yes.
to just pause. Okay, so Jeannette, when I teach people how to, and I didn't set out to teach gratitude. Gratitude found me, and I
Yeah,
found
that's the
gratitude on this
beauty. That's
journey.
the beauty. That's your uniqueness.
But I started thinking about this, and it
Yes.
was only after a couple of years that it really hit me. Oh, I've been answering this question the same way every time. How do I become more grateful? How do I grow more gratitude? Well, it starts by pausing.
Yes.
You just slow down for a moment. Use conscious breathing to help yourself slow
Mhm.
down, right? In through the nose, out through the mouth, 3 or 4 times. You pause, you slow down. We live in a world that does not value the pause. We live in a
Mhm.
world that accelerates people, right? And gets you to, and we honor things like productivity, and we're always
Mhm.
trying productivity hacks. How can I be more productive? Well,
Mhm.
what if the question was, how can I be more present
Yes.
rather than productive? So when you pause, then what? If you want to grow gratitude, what do you? Well, you notice.
Mhm.
Notice what? Notice whatever is around you.
Mhm.
Notice, notice something I say use all of your senses. Notice something you see, hear, smell, taste, or touch, right? If you're outside when you're watching this, maybe you hear something or you smell something. Maybe you smell nature, right? You smell
Mhm.
flowers, or you smell the sea, or you whatever it is or maybe you're somewhere where you smell bread baking. You notice, and then the next step is to just
That's good.
express gratitude. Wow, I'm grateful for
Yeah.
that. I appreciate, right? So right now, I appreciate the fact that I have senses, that
Mhm.
I can see, hear, taste, touch, and smell the world around me. And that as I do, it sparks appreciation in me.
Yes.
And then I can say, oh, Like I had to close the blinds. I have blinds on a window because the sun is so bright today.
Oh,
It
nice.
was washing out me on the screen. So I was like, oh, but I'm grateful for
Yeah,
sunshine.
yeah, yes, yes. I'm
What's
grateful.
something you're grateful for right
I'm
now?
grateful for everything in my life, moment by moment. I'm grateful for sitting with you here and co-creating a conversation that is really also very helpful for others, no? And to for them to know what gratitude really is, what it brings along, no? How it grows you into who you are. And I'm grateful for the day. I'm grateful for now getting darker. I'm grateful for yeah, for so
Hey,
many things.
okay,
Love it.
so I have a friend in the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
So we're mid-January when we're recording this, just for the
Yeah.
record. I'm not sure when it gets aired, but it's mid-January when we're recording this. On January 1st,
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend in the Philippines, Mario, who posted, I just finished my first 365 days of journaling gratitude.
Oh, wow,
And
nice.
now I'm starting my second
Yeah.
365
Yes.
days. That's what she wrote. And I'm like, oh, hey, I'm grateful you get an extra day this year, right? You get
True,
366 days
true.
this year because it's a leap year. And we're just having some fun about that. And then I thought, and I asked, what is something you're noticing now that you've expressed gratitude
Mm-hmm.
for 365 days?
Mm-hmm.
And her response was so beautiful. I'm noticing how many more things I am grateful for.
Yes, yes, yes,
This is one of the beautiful things. You
yeah,
just went through this long
yeah,
list
yeah,
of all these things, and that's what happens
yes.
when we sow gratitude into our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, because I will tell you, I'm a guy when I started. It was years ago. I had a mentor who
Mm-hmm.
challenged me to think. He said, before you get out of bed in the morning, before you actually, the way he said it, before your feet hit the floor when you get out
Mm-hmm.
of bed in the morning, think of three things and I think Ken used the word thankful for. I don't think he used the word gratitude at that
Yeah.
time. Well, Jeannette, for a number of years, I kind of laugh about this now. I say I cheated the process,
Mm-hmm.
right? I used the same three things almost every morning because I didn't really get it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I
You were
just
in
go,
the
oh,
mind. You were
in the
here.
mind,
Yeah,
in the mind. So I wake
yeah,
up and I go, oh, I'm grateful for my wife, our kids are home.
yeah,
Or I'm grateful for my wife, our kids, my job, right?
yeah,
Okay, done, check,
yeah.
grateful. Now I can go on with my day because boom. And I did that for a number of years. So if you'd asked me in that time, Kevin, are you grateful? Well, of course I am, because I think of three things. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, in reality, I did these three things like in 1.2 seconds.
Yes, yes.
Now, a few years back, I got on this gratitude journey, and I started. It was, and at that time, I was in a time blocking mastery program
Mm-hmm.
that said if you want to make something a habit, right? If you want to invite it into your life, do it for 66 days. And
Mm-hmm.
so I had this, I'm going to do this for 66 days. And I wrote day one. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, I'm going to start a journal and I'm going to list at least three things I'm grateful for. And I'm going to, at that point in time, I don't want to. I don't think I said I'm not going to repeat, but I am going to try to expand the list, right? I'm not going to just say my wife, my kids,
Mm-hmm.
my
Mm-hmm.
home. I'm
Yeah.
going to, are there more things to be grateful for in the world? Yes, there are. So this morning when I was journaling, it hit. I mean, I'm looking at this list, Jeannette. I have now listed over these years 9,700 and something things that I'm
Amazing.
grateful for. And I'm like, oh my gosh, in a few months or weeks or something, I'm going to hit 10,000
Yes,
things that I've been grateful for.
yes,
Wow.
yes.
Here's a guy that just a few years ago went through the same three things every day.
Yes, but it's because one thing that you were saying, when you are present, you are grateful. if you live in the present moment, if you are always present, you are always grateful.
And
Because you
so
are
last week,
observing, pausing, you are feeling, you are hearing, you are seeing.
gratitude brings us to the now. So last week I
Yes.
had this idea. I've done it once before 2 years ago. I do a lot of things where I'm collecting data from people. I'm asking people to share their words, right? And so we ask this question: what benefit of gratitude are you enjoying now? And people could list up to 3. And a friend of mine, Nirmala from India, wrote, gratitude always brings me back to the now.
Yes, it's beautiful and it's true.
Right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
my favorite benefit
Yes.
of gratitude
Yes.
is it keeps me in the now.
Yes.
Now, my favorite gratitude quotation, and it pops up on my phone anytime my phone is locked, and then I pick up my phone because a few years ago we made these things called gratitude lock screens. It's really hard to show on the camera. There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
So my favorite gratitude quotation is what I see on my lock screen every time I pick up my phone. And what I just shared from Nirmala, that no amount of regret changes the past. No amount of anxiety changes the future.
No.
Any amount of gratitude changes the present.
The present.
Right?
Yes.
And that comes from Ann Voskamp. It's a quote that a friend of mine shared with me some years ago from Ann Voskamp. And when she shared it, it came in a moment where I was having some regrets over the past and some anxiety over the future, things I could do nothing about.
No.
But in the moment, right? So many, if you're watching this and maybe there's some kind of regret that you're this word rumination, right? Rumination, when we just bring something up over and over, ruminating is punishing to our minds, to our souls, to our heart. There's something in the past that we can't let go. And it's just on this tape and it's playing over, and you're either hearing the words, you're seeing it over and over. Hey, no amount of regret's going to change that, whatever that was. Maybe you made a mistake. You know what? I've made lots of mistakes.
Me too.
Okay. My friend Gary Ridge helped me learn that a mistake, if we learn from it, is nothing more than a learning moment.
Yes.
Or maybe there's so much in the world right now to be anxious about in the future because there's so many things that are unknown. There's so many things that are unknowable. There's so many things that are uncertain. And people just live and worry. Worry is interest paid on a debt that you may never incur.
Yeah, worry comes from here.
Yeah, it comes from here. And worry is a misuse of the imagination.
Yes.
So nothing we can do about the past, nothing we can do about the future, but in the moment, being grateful. So if you're watching this, push pause right now. Hey, what is one thing? What's 2 things you're grateful for now? And what Jeannette just said, I mean, I want to bounce off that. Wow. I'm grateful that we live in a connected world. That a friend, a mutual friend, met Jeannette and knows me and says, oh my gosh, you two should meet. You two would enjoy a conversation. So I'm grateful to live in this connected world where there are people who are not just thinking about themselves, but when they meet somebody, they go, oh, you need to know, right? So we live in this, and then we live in a world that has technology that allows us to connect with people around the world.
Yes.
And then we have technology that allows you and I to have this conversation now. And we've not even had a blip or a glitch in the screen of our Zoom call. I'm grateful for that.
Yes.
I'm grateful for the bandwidth, right? All of the, wow.
And yes,
Grateful.
and grateful. This makes us. It's for me when I'm having this type of conversations. For me, it's like I'm sitting in front of you. I don't have to physically be in the same room because I am already in front of you and I am connected to you, heart to heart. And that it's also it's beautiful because you don't need that. The nurturing comes. It's like I would have been there with you all this time because I'm there with you. I'm present here with you.
Yeah. Okay, so wow. I'm grateful that I have learned and continue to learn that the present moment is where I want to live my life.
Yes.
And to go all in on the present moment and to turn off. I'm grateful that there's a notifications button on my computer now that I can press. And I said, do not notify me of anything until this meeting ends, because in this moment, this is the most important thing that we are doing.
Yes.
And what would it look like if we could bring all of ourselves to whatever it is and whoever is in front of us in this moment,
every moment,
and be
yes.
fully present,
Yes.
and be fully present, because right, in everything else that's going to come after this, it'll take care of itself.
Yes, yes. One before we end, one I got one question of one of my team members, no, of my team. He was saying, Jeannette, how do you remember what everyone tells you? Because you are the whole day, you have meetings with each of us and other ones. How do you remember what we tell you? And I said, because I'm here with you. I'm with the heart. I'm here in the present moment. And whatever you tell me, I feel it. And when I feel it, I experience it. And I won't forget, because it's not in my mind. It's because I have felt it.
I have a friend who is a mentor, and years ago I used to host podcasts all the time. I've hosted 4 podcasts, and I was in. Her name's Jane. She's from the UK. I was inviting Jane on, and we'd been doing this listening work. And she said, Kevin, I have a question for you. What would it be like if you didn't take notes in a meeting? And I said, gosh, Jane, I've relied on notes heavily. And in the podcast conversation I used to host, I would just incessant notes. And part of that would be, oh, Jeannette said something that would make a great tweet. Let me try to capture that, right? Crazy nonsense kind of stuff, because we're trying to multitask, and we realize we can't really multitask because we're just switching our brain between. And I said, Jane, I'm going to do something today. And I took my pen and I laid it down, and I said, I'm just going to go all in on listening to this conversation.
Yes.
And you know what, Jeannette?
From
I put my pen down.
Yeah.
Right. So I did jot here. I wrote 5 words in our conversation today, because when you said IT team, I'm like, oh, I want to make sure I come back and talk about IT team. And when you said who you are, I wrote who you are. That's all that I just wanted to be fully present. And what if, and when we are, yeah, you're right. Our memory of events is so much better.
Yes, because we have felt it, we have integrated it. I don't take notes, I'm here with you, but I later on, it's me creating the podcast and everything. And I remember because of what I have felt with you co-creating. And from there I write.
What Maya Angelou said, right? People may forget. They may forget what you said. They may forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel.
And
When we lead from the heart, what are we making people feel? Loved,
and we
valued.
will never forget. Yeah, I
And
love
it connects. So, gosh, I'm with you. I invite leaders. I invite you, if you, okay, first off, there are over 1 million podcasts on the planet now.
Yes.
If you chose to listen to this or to watch this episode, I want to tell you, that's no accident for you. You're on a journey to lead and live from the heart. That's what draws you to these conversations with Jeannette, because there's something in your heart that goes, ooh, I want to lead like that. I want to live like that. And maybe you're wondering, how can I do that? Well, today we've just given you one little thing you can do.
Yeah.
Just pause right now, pause. Notice what's the good, express, And then maybe what you do next is you think about someone. So one of my favorite things to do is to ask people to go, okay, in the last week, who is someone that brightened your day or lightened your load? Right? They did something. It may have been a little thing. They may not even been aware of it, but it brightened your day. It lightened your load. What if you send them a message right now? And maybe that's a text, maybe whatever that, or one of my favorite things on LinkedIn now is to leave a voice message to someone so they actually hear my voice and they hear the intonations of the emotion that I'm feeling, or whatever it is. Or you get a card and you send a card, whatever it is. But if you pause and you notice and you express gratitude, I want to tell you, you've taken a step to live and lead in love.
Yes,
I
yes.
want to celebrate
I
that
love
about
that,
you.
Gavin. Thank you so much. It's beautiful. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I'm
Thank you.
very grateful for you. Thank you so much.
Now, I've got one question for you
Mhm.
because this is a word I stumbled on for 2024. Imagine.
Mhm.
And so I'm taking time every day to imagine something. So what's something you're imagining now around this world leading by love? What's something you're imagining happening this year, Jeannette?
I imagine, or maybe I could say hope, no? But
Yeah, yeah.
no, I'm imagining more people awaken, more people leading, self-leading through the heart.
So I'll add to that. I imagine people feeling the courage to do that.
Yeah.
People feeling, hey, I've never been content with the leadership that I've seen or experienced. There's something in me that tells me there's a better way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I imagine that you have the courage to take another step in that direction, that you have the courage to be the one that brings this into your workplace, right? And you do not need the permission of anyone
No.
to lead with love. You can start that now. You can start that today. You can be the one that brings this into your company, your team.
Yes.
And I imagine people doing that as a
Yes.
result of these broadcasts.
Yes, that would be lovely. I imagine that. That would be so nice because once they do it only once, they experience it, it stays with them and they will do it more and more and more. And they will positively impact the ones around them. And this is how,
Yeah, and give
yeah, I
other
imagine.
people permission to go
Yes,
do that as well.
yes.
Right? You don't need permission, but
No,
when you and I lead with love, it gives people permission.
yes.
People go, "Oh, she did it. He did. I
Mm-hmm.
can do that too."
Yes, yes, yes. This is so beautiful.
Be the one.
Mm. I invite you to be the one. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeannette. This was amazing. I'm grateful for you. And I also want to express I'm grateful for you watching and listening. I'm grateful for the time you allowed us to share with you. I'm grateful that you allowed us to make deposits of loving leadership into your life. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful that you're going to be an action taker, that
Yes,
you're going to do something with what you heard today.
yes. I'm grateful for that too. Yes.
Wow.